So, just in the previous session, the eighth step of this text, Sadhana Panchakam, the translation from the Sanskrit to English, he says that one master says that once you do the practice of 7 steps, you leave home. So now he has a problem. He says that I believe you, I trust you, but you are saying leave home. So that doesn't fit. It was in his mind for a couple of weeks. So, so that is how it works. Because when you are teaching with a greater clarity and a commitment, so teacher's mind recognizes those problems of a seeker. So he did not tell me, he told me later, but I said, what is the difference between a monastery that Buddha built and his palace in which he was living? You have to contemplate, you have to apply the viveka. Bricks are the same, space is the same, the rooms are maybe smaller or bigger, but more or less it is the same. So what makes one a monastery and what makes one a palace? With that reference, you have to look the first 7 steps of Sadhana Panchakam. So the moment you say home and sweet home, it is desire-based pleasure. And then I said, what happens to all of us when we go to the monastery? We become so humble. Namaste. And we are so arrogant at our home. What happens? So it is the mind must change. The outer things remain the same, whether you live in a monastery or meditate, or whether home becomes the monastery and you meditate. In the monastery, the master and their assistants are watching you. You are not allowed to use the phone, you are not allowed to use the TV. Hence, your mind keeps on returning to study the Eastern wisdom. So why you go to the monastery? You make your home as a monastery. Finished. But now coming one set of warning that we should not start teaching our near and the dear ones. Why? Because it will build my ego. I should apply these principles in my life. I should wait for the changes in my behavior and attitude. When those behavior and attitude changes, people from outside, they say good things about you, and that will only impress your near and the dear ones. Otherwise, it is not possible. People have seen you since your birth. Your parents, your brothers, your sisters, your wives, your son, no, never do that. But when you live into that, but if they do, let them do, just remain free. That is another practice, at home, if the daughter pressures you and you take it as very easy, you are not hesitated, you are not reacting. That step is also hidden in these 8 steps. We are going to study these 8 steps slowly in a different way. So, what exactly is the understanding? Understanding is that, for example, I am breathing in and out of happiness. I am breathing in and out of happiness, one option. I'm breathing for happiness. So when I practice the breathing, it gives me happiness. No, the happiness is already there. You are breathing in and out of happiness. Now apply the same thing. I'm walking, talking, thinking out of happiness. I'm not walking, talking, practicing meditation for happiness. That is another step of karma yoga. Again, the same thing, the nitya karma. We have to understand but I'm very serious, and in that serious mode I'm doing karma yoga. People will watch you. It looks very crazy guy. He does not understand anything. Why? Happiness is my essential nature. We have already studied the Eastern wisdom, and I have to study myself now. So first I check that I am relaxed, calm, and full of joy. Why full of? Oh, I'm in happiness to perform this action. I'm happy to go to the office. I'm happy to talk to you. I'm happy to talk to mom. I'm happy to eat. That it takes a long time not only to understand. Intellectually we understand, but the mind understands by repeat practice, consistent listening and learning and practicing. One master used to explain in a very interesting way. We normally say that now you see that the plants grows on the earth. This plant, how come this plant has become so big a tree? Is there anything in the earth? Is there a special water or a fertilizer? Or what is the quality of that? That is how agriculture scientists do it. But they are wrong. The tall tree becomes because of the seed. The impressions of the seed, the DNA of the seed is present there. The water, fertilizer, and other are supporting it. They are supporting element. It doesn't mean that the earth makes the tree tall. Water and the soil help the seed to grow into a tree. But the tree was hidden in a seed, not in the earth, not in the water, not in the fertilizer, not in the soil. They supplied, yes, they helped, supporting. our body, sense organ, mind, intellect, ego, everything is supporting to manifest that seed of the real self to manifest. We have to take the entire journey of life in that way. Yes, day before yesterday, yes. Yeah, day before yesterday. Today is, yeah, it was on 10th. So I went, they made me lie down. And then, the two medical assistants, they're looking at my beard, they got upset, they got very agitated, they were in anxiety over it. So sometime they were putting something here on my chest to note my heart rate, and so they put some one finger to pulse rate, and then they take the temperature. They were in rush, I said, come here, I want to ask you a question. Do you have any machine which is 20 or 30 years old lying in your house? And they were taken aback. They started thinking, oh, there is no machine. Even my car is hardly 5 years old. I said, this is 66-year-old machine. Do you understand? So you have to take care of it. It may need lot of repair and maintenance, but at present I am very relaxed and calm. You need not to worry. But the way you are putting these stuff on my chest and different parts of the body, it causes a reaction of the body. And then, so they were relaxed, and then I said, what is my blood pressure? 130 by 80. I said, it never goes to 130. It remains at 120 by 75. Your action increased it. But that is normal. So you see, I'm happy, so I am breathing. I am happy, that is why I am doing this work. I'm happy to devote time to explain the principles in such a way so that the people can understand, can get inspired, motivated, and treat the path. I'm happy to meditate. I'm happy to eat. So that sense of the joy comes from the awareness after learning so many principles, and that is why, to help us maintain that awareness, I see that you start doing the Shanti mantra every day you wake up in the morning. Whether you are lying down, do it. You like to sit and do it, and contemplate and Sarvesham
Swastir Bhavatu.
Swastir Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. And then you contemplate inside your head, happiness is within me. I am a human being. If I am a human being and the happiness is within me, it means the happiness is within every human being on this earth, and suddenly your mind becomes alert. Accept that guy because I hate that guy. So there you are purifying your mind. No. First he is a human being, then happiness is within him, and then what you are saying, then where it comes the hatred? Why? We are not changing the society, we are changing our mind. We are changing our mind. That needs to be clearly and deeply not only understood but applied. Applied again and again and again and again. The more you apply, the better you start feeling. These first few steps, there are two things. Where is the first thing? Why we are suffering. So first few steps helps to minimize the suffering. But question remains that why we are suffering. Our desire-based pleasures or pleasure-based desires are not fulfilled. Yeah, pleasure-based desires are not fulfilled. It means my relationship as an individual with the false I, with reference to the world outside, is not harmonious. And if it is not harmonious, how can I proceed in the life? How can I become a seeker? So when it becomes harmonious, then your mind does not go outside. Throughout the day, you are focused on this activity, you did this, you did that, you finished. The whole day passes peacefully. That is one of the greatest criteria. But if we have such an intense desire to become a monk, yes, then go to the monastery and stay there. So now your mind is not distracted, not going anywhere. So that state is not, and we don't, both are good, both are at the higher level. When we reach to a state where we instantly recognize. So, the first step what I was saying, that the master helps us to minimize the suffering. But from there comes the second step. What is the second step? Masters repeatedly makes us aware through the principles of the Eastern wisdom that you have to recognize and realize consistently, daily in your life what you are not. Because the more you understand what you are not, it will put you in the state of the karma. I am the body, so then a body has a pain, then I have a problem. Now I am not the body. Body has a pain. Let it be taken care of. I am not the body. This is a machine, so take care of this. I was surprised that not in the left eye. So left eye was done on 5th. And when the right eye was done, I was fully conscious. He put some air and he opened it, and then he put something, he removed it. Within 5 minutes he said it is done. I said it is done. I was thinking that it will take more time. No, it is done. So you see, that is the power of understanding and experiencing to recognize what you are not. Because the mind, because of the ignorance and the delusion, keeps on saying this is what you are. You are the body, you are the mind, you are the intellect, you are the ego. What will happen if something happens wrong? Something happens wrong. There is already wrong because of the cataract. So what else can be wrong? So that causes a lot of problem. These are the pleasure-based desire. So the pleasure-based desire has a content of the fear and anxiety, duality, and a conflict. So the master is saying that happiness is our essential nature. It is not a product of external circumstances. Why? Just as the tree exists in potential form within the seed, not in the soil, not in the water, not in the fertilizer. They may act as a catalyst. We breathe from happiness, not for happiness. All action should come after my calmness and peace and happiness. That much I have to recognize. The mind is going to change. Look at the seed and the soil principle again. External conditions facilitate but don't create our inherent nature. I am very happy eating pasta. So, pasta is not conscious. How the happiness is contained there? Same thing with the soil and the water. Help a seed grow but don't create the essence of the tree. I am of the essence beyond the body and the mind. So I have to think in that way. I have to reflect in that way again and again. But through reasoning, not just accepting as it is. If you accept as it is, the mind is not going to change. The mind will say, you have already spoken, you have given a good lecture. Mind says, now I will give you a lecture. You have a lot of pain in the body. Go to the doctor first. You don't even have a level of endurance. That is what we learn in the monastery. So what happens when we continue to understand this? Negation. Why negation? What I am not. I'm consistently reflecting what I am not. I minimize the suffering. I prepare the mind. I become a seeker. I improve my working and efficiency in my personal, professional, social, and the family life also. The last one is very important because when I increase the efficiency, I am thinking, speaking, and acting in my personal, professional, social life with calm and ease. My mind is totally free. It can easily enter into a higher meditation easily. So find out those areas of trigger, reaction, in relationship, in the profession, and see that how we can change that. So then your mind is already free. You can be into meditation at any time. So gradually what happens, we start recognizing the impermanence of external conditions. Now you see that your level of awareness is going up because of these simple principles. They come and go. Oh, my daughter has come and she said something, now she is gone. The impression in the mind is also gone. Oh, this is what is the meaning of dropping the attachment. So you drop the attachment and delusion by understanding, not by any practice. But on the other hand, you are living your life. For example, Shanti mantra, consistent listening and learning, and practice. The impermanence of external condition will reveal from your own self. Then we see the impermanence in wealth, in relationship, in possessions, in events. So should we not celebrate event? No, you celebrate the event because that happiness from inside is celebrating the event. Happiness is not in the event. Birthday, yes, birthday of daughter, yes. Celebrate. First time we recognize that you are celebrating an event, But you see, the happiness is independent of that event. So that is how the Master is asking us to grow, evolve, rise in consciousness. And that is why the Master says that our nature, our real self is obscured by the ignorance and the delusion. That is what we are removing. Now see, I can talk about that issue, but I'm just deviating and making you, then I will ask you to think. What we are saying that I am not the wave, I am the water. That should be the first step. That will help minimize or drop the ego, drop the pleasure-based desire, drop my delusion. But at the same time, intellectually, if we contemplate why you are asking me to declare that I am not the wave, because the wave is also the water. That we take up at the second level. When we really become the seeker, then only we can understand. Before that, that realization into the mind does not take place. I am not the body, I am not the sense organ, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, I am not the ego. Then what we say? They are all manifestations of the real self. But in the beginning, until we have a detachment, until we have viveka, until we enter into a vairagya or a kind of a dispassion, until we make our home a monastery, we should not even think of it. There is nothing. When I say that there is only one real self, everywhere, all pervading. So there is only one means there is not two. So what is that two? You are already saying I am not the body. Yes, we start with the two. What you are and what you are not. So this process of negation is meant to help the mind to rise in awareness, rise in calmness, to understand the nitya karma, to understand that what are the sins and unfavorable conditions can easily be managed. Body, senses, mind are the instruments, not the source of happiness. Body, mind, intellect. They are the tools for expression, like the soil, water for a seed. So when I say that I am not the body, it doesn't mean that I don't care the body. People have a very wrong notion. I went to the Himalayas and I met a yogi who was standing on one foot. And I asked the master that, were you standing on one foot? He said, I'm not crazy. I followed what my teacher said. But is it not possible to stand on one foot? It is possible. You get a perfection at the level of the body and you are still living in ignorance. It will not work. If your goal is the highest, to reach to the highest level of the consciousness, then this is not the goal. Then what happened, I remember I got a orange colored cloth and I went to the tailor. I said, make a long robe, and I wore it and I went to my master. He said, get out of this monastery. I remember, get out. And then I was also obstinate, so I said, So, Master, you say, get out of it. So I went outside the gate of my monastery and I slept there the whole night. So around 3 a.m. in the morning, he said, that guy is not going anywhere. You call him inside. But then I had already removed the robes. Then he said, why? I ran away from my house. My master said that I ran away from the house at the age of 12 and 13. I did not understand anything. My master gave me this robe, so I wore it. Now, I'm still wearing it. So if I remove it, it means then there is some doubt in the mind. Let it be so. But I'm saying that you don't need it. So when I have already told you you don't need it and still you wore it and came, I said, here it is the robe. That is done. That is done. And then he said, those three people, they were insisting me to have a robe to declare that I'm your student. So I said, wear it because they are not interested in the journey. So have it. So what I am doing, don't see what I am doing. Don't compare it with others. It was a good teaching, good lesson. I said, no, I have understood. Now I have understood. And then he introduced, there was Hari, only, of my age in those days, in 80s, it was 25, 26. And so master gave him the orange colored cloth and the warm cloth and 10 pounds of rice and other stuff. So because master was distributing to everyone, he accepted with all the humility. He waited when everyone is left. I was there, this guy was there, and the master. So master, he told that I don't need it. Come on, he had only 2 pairs of the clothes. He was living in a cottage, and that was, also the roof was, roof has many holes. So he said, my master said, look at this guy. He is eligible to wear the monk, but still he is not interested. He says, please keep it. When I need it, I will come back to you and I will take it from you. He said, that is the difference between pleasure-based desire and need-based desire. So then, what to do about those people who live in the society, in the relationship? They need it. They need all these things. They need for tomorrow also, but you should not enter into a craving. Yes, you should have a pair of clothes. It's okay. It's a part of the life. So this is what we need to clearly understand. Clearly understand. The body, senses, mind are the instruments and not the source of happiness. Our true nature manifests spontaneously when conditions are right. So what we are doing, when conditions are right, we are putting the water and the fertilizer in the soil every day. We are doing the Shanti Mantra, we are listening and learning. Then we sit down, contemplate and reflect, and then we do the practice. Now, say for example, you finish everything around 6 or 7, whatever the time you have. Now the whole day, you will be guided by these principles. It will change your behavior and attitude. May not be today, but after a few weeks, it will change. My master, I'm just giving you another, I remember that's very interesting. My master used to say that, like waking up, the alarm does not create a waking state. it facilitates you. It triggers our natural capacity of a waking state. Alarm does not create a waking state. Very interesting. He used to talk a lot about it. Alarm does not create a waking state. What the heck you are talking about it? Because I will put the alarm and I will wake up. Come on, you are unconscious. Even the alarm continues, you will not wake up. You have to be conscious. You have to understand this. And then what happened?
By
By
alarm,
alarm,
you
you
create
create point
of
of
attention
attention
to
to
wake up.
wake up.
Yeah, but it does not create waking state.
But
But
nothing
nothing
possible.
possible.
Nothing
Nothing can do
waking
waking
state.
state.
Nothing can do the way that. If I understand that, then I don't need an alarm. Then I don't. But because my mind depends on the external sources, so that needs to be properly understood. So many people, I said, I will wake up at 4 today, definitely. Now I normally wake up at around 3:30. So these are the obstacles that my waking state depends on the alarm. That is the ignorance. But if you teach first time these simple principles to a layman, they will say this guy is crazy. Alarm starts and then I wake up.
But
But
our
our feeling
of
of
tiredness
tiredness
in the
in the
evening
evening
after
after
working day,
working day,
it's
it's
also
also
part of the
part of the
mind.
mind.
Yes,
So
So
yes,
freshness,
freshness,
in
in,
this
in
case,
this case,
freshness is
freshness is
also not
also not
created
created
by
by
yes.
some.
some.
It means if I'm tired in the evening when I return home, I have to examine. Now you got it. Today's session is very important. Is happening. So it means I'm tired. It means there were some sins I committed during the day. So I have to look back. I have to analyze my whole life. Interaction, thought, speech, impressions, they moved into my mind. That is one aspect. Second aspect may be some form of some illnesses, physical illnesses. So I have to examine both.
But if
But if
alarm
alarm
not
not
creates a
creates a
waking
waking
state,
state,
so
so
my
also my
work
work
not
not
creates a
creates a
tiredness
tiredness
state.
state.
Yes, that is what I'm saying. You are right. And if it is creating, I have to analyze, observe, and get rid of it. Yes, yes. We both are on the same page. We are definitely recognizing it. It will not happen. The way you feel the freshness when you wake up in the morning, the same throughout the day you pass on the same state of easy and calmness. Then first time the mind is realizing this is possible. Why you are running after so many things outside? Recognition. So by regular practice, my mind gets a recognition, and then my intellect follows the viveka. Then I do the practice. Then result, I experience the detachment. So there is a consistent detachment state with the body. I'm not, the body is there. So where question of tiredness comes? First time we recognize that happiness is not, or relaxation or freshness, yes, you are right, is not dependent on external conditions. So in the first case, I told you, on the fifth, I was totally unconscious. So maybe after 15-20 minutes, I became conscious, and doctor came back again, and he said, now you are okay. I did it. I said, you did it. It was only 15-20 minutes of total unconsciousness. So that it cannot help me to evolve and rise in consciousness. But this time, the next time, I said no. So it happens because of the past impressions. They have to sedate the body, they have to put some chemicals into the body. But in the second instance, I could rise from that sedation. Yes, it is possible. So now, why I am saying so? Even you have done 10 hours and 12 hours of activity, the freshness continues inside your head. Because you have worked 10 hours, or tiredness, it is in the body because of lack of energy. But it has less to do with your mental, emotional fatigueness. Because if I have mental and emotional fatigueness, it continues, it drags for long hours. You have physical fatigueness, what people do. They take a pill and they are happy. Or they take a beer, or they take a drink. They want to forget that tiredness. Here we are transcending the body. I am not the body.
In, in this came, in this, so to become sicker, it's not also not depend of the,
it's only
it's only
internal.
It is because of the vasana, it is because of the past impression. So there we answer simply, it is because of the past impression, because you are pushed to act. Why you are pushed to act? Because you had some desire. Why you had the desire? You have a knowledge of the desire to be followed to bring happiness. So that is why you started acting on it. So when you started acting on it, and that ultimately is related to a pleasure-based desire, so the tiredness. So it is the whole process of accumulation, accumulated impressions cause this karma, it further accumulated more karma, and that cycle continues. So it is on the past impression. We say it is based on the vasana. It has nothing to do with your realness, the real self. You still reminded me in those high mountain at the height of 12,000 feet at the age of 70 or 75 with one long stick. He is very tall, 6 feet and 3 and 4 inches with such a heavy weight. He used to run on the mountain which we cannot compete with him. And after that he said, this is my horse. You see, the horse can run faster. You don't declare that this is your horse. You declare that this is me. That is the problem. So that's another message. He was full of all the time. He was just passing on the message to make you understand. He used to read the mind and just passing on the message. You see that. So the entire message can be summarized that this is the horse, Horse is separate from me. I am not the horse. So you see that studying the Eastern wisdom, that is why I say study Eastern wisdom to study yourself. Now when I say study yourself, it means I am studying everything which I claim I am. I claim I am 5 sense organs, motor organs, the body, breath, mind, impressions, business, family, relations, etc., etc. So many things I have to study. So what I am studying, that which is causing the problem. Why? Because I have already, my teacher made me to understand that I am not the body. I have to prove it that I am not the body. Not to disprove. That is what I say. Sum of 3 angles of a triangle is 180 degree. And you come up with this solution. No, it is 170. You are wrong. but you prove it, then you are a non-seeker. Then you are simply a non-seeker. You fail. So you see the same thing. So we have already said in the very beginning, sum of angles of a triangle is 180 degree. What we say in Eastern wisdom, real self is of the nature of peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. Prove it. So you have to follow the entire process to prove it that definitely the real self is of the nature of peace and happiness. You have to consistently prove by the process that yes, three angles is equal to 180 degree. It cannot be 170. Hypothesis, same. And then in that case, the first thing, come on, now you have to understand you are not the body first, and then you are not an individual ego. How we treat that? Nitya karma. Oh, so you are, then after all, there is someone doer. Give the responsibility to the existence. Existence is the doer. Make yourself very light, balanced, clear. Oh, God is the doer. Yes, God is the doer. So it means if the God is the doer, the God is also the enjoyer. Yes, whosoever is the doer has to be the enjoyer. So it means what I like to eat gives me a pleasure. It is not the pleasure at all. Yes, it is not the pleasure. That is how we go deeper. Our mind contemplates and reflects. Oh, yes, no food, no wealth, no event contains the property of a pleasure. Should I leave everything? No, you shall have to continue acting. There is no alternative. You have to still go to the washroom. The guy is enlightened. He has to still go to the washroom. He has still to eat. Yes, he still has to follow the waking, sleep, and dream state. It's a different matter that one sleeps hardly for a few hours. You cannot bypass the natural laws. 90, 92, 93, Buddha has to leave the body. The only difference is that he leaves the body. We remain attached to the body. And that's why we are suffering. So this is the entire, first few steps helps us to not only apply, do not change anything outside. What I have to change is my response, my attitude, my emotions. I have to bring about a change, and that is what the purification of the mind is. So we bring the purification of the mind is. So when we have that purification of the mind, then we have a conducive attitude, favorable attitude towards the journey of the discovery of the real self. How come? Mind continues to think and reflect on it. I appreciate the focus of bypassing the material laws by Elon Musk. I was reflecting almost for a couple of years, about this guy is really insane and crazy, means super intelligent and a genius. How you become a super intelligent? By contemplating and reflecting on a problem. So when I'm contemplating, reflecting on the body and the mind that I am not, how I am not, I become a seeker. But I'm coming to how he is so insane and crazy and a great genius. I mean to say insane and crazy means that he if I think of his brain or mind, whatever you say, or intellect, we say the law of friction. I'm giving an example. Law of friction. You are an engineer. Law of friction. So I'm able to walk on the ground because of the laws of friction. How to bypass the law of friction? So a couple of years ago, he started with a loop underground, which many people say he fails. No, he is doing something extraordinary. He is searching something extraordinary to find out, and he will do it. Now what he did, he kept the building of a supersonic aircraft which matches the speed of 4,600 miles an hour. America has the most advanced aircraft, Raptor, whose speed is 1,500 miles or 2,200 miles an hour, even F-35. And then what happened? The Pentagon and Elon Musk, they are fighting. No, you have to give all the technology to us. But how he bypassed that speed? And now you see another point that was astonishing. I was looking at this video. It was revealed on the 8th of the last month or this month, I don't forget. What he did, that he electromagnetic ammunitions. He attached electromagnetic ammunitions, and he created a complete stealth aircraft. Complete stealth. That even if it is flying at 100 meters, you cannot notice. So what it does, so with that electromagnetic ammunition, it attacks the military forces of the enemy, so they become incapable to fire for at least an hour, but they don't die. In the meantime, this aircraft does everything and it returns to its base. The fuel efficiency, which is another thing. Fuel efficiency. It can fly about 100,000 meters above the earth. Normally all the fighter aircraft flies around 50,000, 38 to 50,000 feet to bypass the radar. Why I said so, real self, I am the real self is something like that. Because I'm the body and the mind. Come on, you are saying that I have no name in the form? Yes, you don't have any name in the form. I'm not this body. No, this feeling is also wrong. It is false. So you are bypassing. To recognize that real self and to awaken to that real self is like the stealth aircraft who flies 100,000. It bypasses all your experiences. Unimaginable. Why unimaginable? Mind cannot imagine because it transcends the mind. So what Elon Musk has did, unimaginable in physics. Unimaginable in physics. Day before yesterday, I was saying, oh my goodness. You already know my mind always goes back to the Eastern wisdom. And I said, oh, this guy is really So, with that example, how our masters have ever, how can I say, ever conceived or imagined or thought of it? No, these are small words. That, I see the wave in the water. How come the genius came out of looking at the same phenomena, that not only the wave is water, but all the waves are water, and there is only water, there is only consciousness, nothing else. It is a discovery like Elon Musk. So that is why, because you simply cannot, because my mind is heavily conditioned with some physics principles. So it's no, we cannot bypass it. He bypassed it. So, but I'm stressing more on today's topic. We can bypass it. I can continue to be with this body and still transcend that. Is it possible? That is the hypothesis. That is an experiment we are doing in the Eastern wisdom. Nothing less, nothing more than that. It was, I think, it is there, some YouTube videos are there. And now they are, they are fighting Pentagon, and we cannot leave that aircraft to a private party, Pentagon. Pentagon has to say it. But
ultrasonic airplanes wasn't